Hey everyone, and welcome back to Day by Doy. For this video, we will talk about AI. This video is not meant to make you an expert on the subject. I am not an expert, but the goal is to try to at least give you that additional 5% level of confidence in trying to navigate this emerging tech space. This is like an introduction to AI, but by a casual learner. Not so promising, but despite this, I hope you could stick around until the end of the video. There are so many ways to tackle introduction to AI. Depending on your field, some areas might be prioritized over others. This video is meant to cut through that noise and quietly raise awareness on some of the encompassing principles behind it. But again, as I have personally discovered and understand them. I think it's best to also start this sharing by providing more context about who I am and my interests. I have always been an enthusiast of consumer technology. I don't know if you'll agree, but I feel like the best way to get to know someone today is by looking at their YouTube subscription page. So if you're going to see mine, you will see several reviewers and some productivity gurus. I don't know how to code, so I'm not that kind of a techie. But when it comes to consumer tech, I think I have an above average understanding. Gadgets, applications, home appliances. People who know me often ask me for recommendation when it comes to buying gadgets, headphones, smartphones, keyboards, or even power banks. So even though AI and LLMs are essentially engines and back-end infrastructures, the interfaces we interact and the technology that we use are very consumer facing. And it's in those very techs that I just mentioned where we interact with them the most. And in that space, I'm pretty much comfortable talking about it. I also really like the idea of technology. For me, it's a close second to education. Both are great equalizers. And if we're going to actually think about it, tech today, while it can be expensive, is really already attainable. Most of it is now marketed to everyone. Smartphones, for example, have budget, mid range, and high end tiers. So, depending on your income, there's always something that you can access. So in this video, I would like to touch on the following main topics. Number 1, why AI can be overwhelming. And 2, how I learned and continuously learning more about AI. And 3, the personal best practices I've learned along the way. So to begin, why AI feels overwhelming. To understand how to navigate AI, I think it's very important for us to acknowledge that it is really an overwhelming topic. And for me, it will greatly help if we understand why it feels overwhelming in the first place. To achieve this, it's important to have a basic foundation and understanding of what the technology is. Based on my understanding, AI or artificial intelligence at its core is the ability of the machines or software to perform tasks that typically require human intelligence. There are many kinds of AI already in use today. Personally, my favorite example is Spotify and YouTube music recommendations. Because we've used them for so long already, they've learned what kinds of songs we typically listen to. And automatically, they play a song that we would typically like. Something we used to do manually, get recommendations from others, now happen automatically. But the most interesting ones and the source of the overwhelm for me are the LLMs or the large language models. This include ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, Perplexity, Meta AI, Grok, DeepSeek, and many, many more. And many of these products are now multimodal, meaning they can generate not just text or voice, but also images and videos. But at the center of it is still language. Because of this impressive capabilities, a lot of us got scared, including myself. The fear that it will replace us or this will take our jobs became real. And when you combine that fear with the sheer number of LLM products out there, which I've mentioned earlier, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. And so much so that we don't even try to learn it anymore. But it's really critical that we pause and really ask, how does these things actually work? LLMs are a type of AI that's specifically trained to work with language. The simple way to put this is that they can speak and write. That's why they feel so natural to use. But in reality, they're just predictive models. They don't know facts, they don't think, uh, at least the way humans do. They predict the most likely next word or phrase based on the patterns in their training data. When I asked ChatGPT to simplify this concept, it gave me a very good analogy involving flashlight. So when you type something in the LLM turns on a flashlight. It shines in the direction it thinks most likely what you're looking for and how you want them to respond. That's why prompting, the way we phrase questions, are so important. It helps the model to point the flashlight to the right direction. So if you're also overwhelmed regarding the model names, so for ChatGPT, we have 3.5, 4, 4.1, O3. For Gemini, there's Flash. For Claude, there's Sonnet. Think of those models just like an iteration of the flashlight. Each version shines brighter, farther, and more accurately than the one before. So that could be an oversimplification, but I think it's enough for us to be have a better understanding and appreciate the tech better. And yes, I know even after explaining this way, it still feels like magic. But conceptually, this is what helped me to let go to a certain extent of that particular fear and start actually exploring. Uh, I always keep in mind that it is only as good as your prompt. And that led me to explore more tools and develop my own approach, which I will be sharing in this video. So, another big reason why I think AI could be overwhelming is because we really do not know what we're missing out on, at least for now. And I think that's scarier than knowing what you are missing out on. The best comparison I can think of is the emergence of social media. Right now, we have a good understanding of what social media can contribute or even negatively impact our lives. We already know what we're missing out on, and the influencer economy, being an influencer, instant sharing, checking out other people. But for AI and the multimodal services it provides, yes, we have identified some use cases already, but not everything is out there compared to social media. And I think the best way to address this fear is to recognize that we are all still immigrants in this space. Maybe one can claim to be more proficient than the other, but the tech is still developing. No mind, I would like to believe, in the world right now is really wired to think intuitively about AI and what it can do. And comparing it to the Gen Zs and the youth of today using social media, which already uses it as second nature. For AI, we are still trying to figure this one out. All of us are immigrants. So maybe some of us are better placed to learn, but we're all still learners. Which leads me to the second point. How do we really learn about AI? There's a big mystery on how to best learn about AI. To be straight, I'm not sure. I don't think there's really a perfect answer regarding this. But what's certain is this: learning is a process, and there's really no shortcut for it. Time needs to be invested. So, of course, there are more efficient ways of learning, like looking for a teacher instead of being purely self taught. So, that in itself is also a challenge. There are very few gurus in the space and so many enthusiasts trying to share, like myself. So, what I learned is that you should find that perfect balance. And for the teacher, it was revolutionary for me when I realized that the best teacher is actually the AI itself. In ChatGPT, which is my most used LLM now, I have a chat titled AI Inquiries, where I place most of my assumptions, questions, and thoughts regarding AI, and I ask it to confirm. So, questions like what's the difference between prompting, versus contextual memory versus instructions in projects, and how do these things impact your output or answer. So it works surprisingly for me. I get immediate answers from my inquiries, and it broadens my understanding of how AI actually works. So for other sources, like external sources like YouTube, I follow Jeff Su, a productivity and AI influencer. I'll tag his channel in the description. His videos provides actual use cases and amazing tips on how to navigate the AI revolution. Other YouTubers are actually doing the same, but I like Jeff the most. For more technical knowledge, Stanford Online actually provides free online courses as well. And of course, the option to enroll to a online or face-to-face classes are also an option. But I am personally a bit hesitant investing substantial money for this right now, since the space is still emerging. I think it would add value if you could appreciate and try the free sources available online. And another tip that I got from Jeff is actually keeping yourself updated. You should subscribe to AI tech news and follow the big players like OpenAI, Google, Anthropic, and be aware of the announcements that they are making. Since updates happen so fast, you don't actually have to try whatever you learn online. But staying in the loop gets you somehow excited. And in doing so, you also get to learn other things about AI, including the not so good or negative issues concerning it, like the impact to the environment and especially the issues on intellectual property rights. This is a topic this is a totally separate topic that deserves a separate video. But being aware of these issues will help you form a better judgment on whether using these tools actually align with your values. Then once you learn all of these things, it's really important that you actually apply what you've learned. That's why choosing the right tool often matters. Um, Personally, I'm currently subscribed to ChatGPT, the Plus, the Gemini Advance, which has been recently called as Google AI Pro and Claude Pro, because I wanted to really know how they respond and how to operate these different products. I learned that it's really a matter of preference and how you value some of the key advantages of one product over the other. We will not cover that in this video, but there are many sources explaining that already. I'm right now. The sweet spot for me is maintaining my Gemini, the Google AI Pro, and ChatGPT Plus. But to be clear, I'm not telling you to subscribe to all of them as well. The free tiers are more than enough to help you test the waters. And I think the most important point that I want to make when it comes to the concept of learning AI is that uh, you don't have to be an expert of AI today. As I've shared, we're all immigrants here. You just need to be proficient. And proficiency only comes with exposure, curiosity, and a bit of trial and error. Here's another analogy that this time I came up with myself. For me, learning to use AI is kind of like learning how to drive. Right now, many of us are scared or overwhelmed. We tell ourselves the tech is still evolving. Maybe it's a waste of time to learn it now. But just like with driving, you don't wait until you can afford the right or perfect car for you before you start learning how to drive. If you do, you delay the learning process and miss out on the skills that could have been building already. So even if the car is clunky and without air conditioning, what matters is that you learn how to steer, signal, move forward, and essentially not be an annoying driver. The car is already here. The technology is already here. And by the time the perfect model arrives, the tools may have changed again and you're still starting to learn from zero. So the same is true for AI now. Start now, try things, get comfortable behind the wheel, because the foundational skills, prompting well, thinking critically, checking output, building workflows, and being ethical will remain useful no matter how this tool evolves. And now for the third main point, my personal best practices. Um Again, I have developed this best practices along the way. They are not absolutes, but they have helped me cut through the noise and feel more comfortable, confident, and responsible when using AI. The number one is if I can avoid it, I don't ask AI to generate from scratch. But the bigger premise here is understanding when to generate versus when to iterate. In working with AI, it helps to distinguish the two. So, generation is when you ask the model to create something from nothing based on your prompt. Iteration is when you start with your own draft, make a structure, and let AI improve, refine, or rephrase it. While both are powerful, iteration often, at least for me, leads to better results, especially in those requirements involving creativity or preserving your own voice. Because it actually preserves the human intent while leveraging the advantages of AI. So yes, I understand that there are valid cases where starting from scratch is useful, like coding, long reports, or when you need to explore new directions like brainstorming. But for the work that I do, especially which is heavy in writing and decision making, I'll always start with my own draft, then ask AI to review, polish, or sometimes even offer suggestions. So it helps me stay accountable. It ensures that I'm not simply copying something that I don't understand, and it lets me stay in control of the direction and the tone of the final output. So, number two, which is very crucial for me, you own the output, so take full responsibility. Just because AI produce impressive results doesn't mean we should present those outputs as if they're truly ours, especially if we don't understand them. My rule of thumb is this: if it's not your area of expertise and you relied heavily on AI, either acknowledge that it was AI generated, not iterated, right? And then, if that's not possible for you, or you're not comfortable doing that, do enough research to gain confidence that the output truly reflects your understanding. As a lawyer, I still take pride in the quality of the work that I do. Yes, some of my drafts were enhanced by AI, but the core thinking, structure, and arguments are all mine. That's why I can still confidently say that these works are mine, and I don't mind telling other people that they were actually improved by AI. The script that I prepared for this video is actually improved by AI after drafting end to end. So, uh, which this particular practice actually points out to ownership, right? And that's another thing that I want to highlight. When AI make mistakes, we don't blame the AI. These tools always reminds us that they hallucinate. They can provide wrong answers. These tools always, it's even written in the prompts before typing. So if something goes wrong and we use an output without checking it, then that mistake is ours and we cannot blame AI. And it's also worth repeating that even though AI as a technology is relatively new, it doesn't mean we need new rules to define what's ethical. The concept of ownership is still the same. And then finally, which I think is the most pivotal best practice that I do, is that I treat AI as a thinking partner. Yes, although I repeatedly address the technology as a tool, I actually think of it as more than a tool. Uh, I don't treat AI like a vending machine that just gives out answer. I treat it like my second brain. I share my thoughts, let it respond, ask it to challenge me from time to time, and I build on the back and forth communications that we have. And when you start seeing it this way as a partner, it stops to a certain extent feeling like robotic. It starts feeling like you can. It's something that you can grow with, evolve with, and even shape into something that really reflects your thinking style. So that's essentially my general thoughts about AI. I probably only touched 0.0001% of the topic, But despite that, I hope you still found something valuable in it. Thank you very much for watching. And if you enjoy this, I hope you can like, share, or subscribe. And if you want more quiet reflections, you can find me on Instagram. My handle will be in the description below. Thank you very much again.